Hello, everyone. I'm Reverend Richard Miner. I'm the Graduate Engagement Officer here at One Spirit Learning Alliance in New York City. And today it is my great pleasure to be here with Reverend Gabriele Ganswindt. Gabriele, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Richard. My pleasure.
It is really a pleasure to see you. You are calling in all the way from Wellesley, Massachusetts, and you attended One Spirit as you were ordained in the year 2008. So you have been an interfaith minister for 10 years now.
Yes.
During that time, you've had some amazing experiences. I know you're the founder of the Shared Learning International organization. And so I'd like to start off with the first question I always like to ask people is, tell me a little bit about what brought you to One Spirit.
Mm-hmm. So I got my training originally as a psychologist in Germany, and then I came to this country and decided to stay and work as a organizational leadership consultant facilitator. And I've always been interested in the intersection of leadership, psychology, and spirit, because I have a sense. I always felt that when you walk into an organization, you can sense whether spirit is flowing, whether spirit is alive in the individual people, in the groups, even in the walls. And so my work as a leadership consultant, coach, facilitator always made me care about the spirit of the individual leader. And so 12 years ago, in 2006, I met a colleague at a leadership conference on Cape Cod, actually, and he told me that he was about to join One Spirit Interfaith Seminary. This was at a break, sitting under a beautiful tree outside the building in Cape Cod, and it was one of those moments, listening to him, I knew this is what I would do next. And within a month, both of us had applied, were accepted, and were on a bus together to go attend One Spirit in New York City. And that's how it started. And I remember distinctly one of my concerns was, as someone who facilitates a lot of gatherings and workshops, I wondered, well, how is this going to happen? How good are they at doing this? And within the first 30 minutes of being in the room with Diane and other deans, I knew I was in the right place and literally fell in love with the program.
That's an amazing story. I think many of us share your sympathies. We walk in and we immediately fall in love with it. And like me, I haven't left. So you've had an amazing experience in the last 10 years. You've done a lot of things and you're busy doing a lot of really interesting things right now. Can you tell me a little bit about your journey and what you're doing now?
Mm-hmm. So what attracted me actually in the story that I was told before deciding was, and I know not everybody heard that, but the term I was attracted by was underground ministry, because I never wanted to be a pulpit minister, speaker. That is not who I am. I like to work in the background as a coach, in the underground, so to speak. And what I knew was I wanted to use what I was learning, what I was being trained in, to serve my clients, both corporate leaders as well as private individuals that find me as a life or a career or spiritual coach, in that fashion. And what really changed, I remember distinctly, especially during the time of being ordained, and we were distilling our vows for one another and ourselves, that I had and still have the distinct feeling that now I no longer work alone. I'm a channel for something much larger than me that is serving whoever is showing up, whether it's an individual or a team of leaders or a whole group of people that I work with. So most of my work is as an underground minister, I think of it as executive ministry that I'm offering, even though it's called executive coaching, organizational consulting. But in the end, the questions that I ask are all about, who do you choose to be as a leader? How do you choose to be in the world? What is most important for you to leave behind, whether it's in your role in this particular job as a leader? And how do you address the difficult questions, the firing, the hiring, the growing, the merging of organizations in a way that is noble and filled with human dignity, and where both your spirit as a leader stays intact as well as that of the people that you serve. And I just feel that all my training at One Spirit and everything subsequent, that training that I've added, is helping me lead as a companion, as a trusted advisor, the clients that I work with in ways to contemplate and discern in much deeper ways than I would have known to do so without it.
Those are some very, very interesting questions that you're posing. And I have to say that I love the term underground minister. I think that that's a really, really wonderful, wonderful idea. And you're doing so many things right now in so many different directions. Tell me a little bit about what's going on for you now and what's next for you.
Okay. So as I mentioned, one of the commitments that we as ministers make when we graduate is that we continue to deepen our spiritual learning. And I've taken that very seriously, both with One Spirit as well as in other places, whether it's being certified as an end-of-life doula, because I like working with the end in mind and working backwards. In all parts of my work, that is important to me. Then 3 years ago, I joined a training through my friend and mentor and teacher, Margaret Wheatley, that is called Warriors for the Human Spirit. And basically, she's bringing people together from all over the world to train as this world is in many ways collapsing, imploding, going crazy, how to stay and be and create, being a sane presence. Or one of the terms that we use is to be and create islands of sanity. And so to me, this is, for me, it has been an ongoing training for the last 3 years. And I'm leaving in a couple of weeks to work with the next group of students that is joining this training with Meg. And we're actually offering a training for One Spirit and others in October. So anyone interested to learn more is welcome to join us for that. And the practice of how to welcome what is as it is, to not have the hope or expectation that we actually can change things necessarily, and to be a gentle, decent, loving and caring presence in whatever the world presents to us, is a tall order in day-to-day living, whether it's with a teenage daughter or two, or in my work, or when we look at the political and world environment that we're in. So what I've done to translate this training and what I'm really excited about these days is I've created a space here in Wellesley outside of Boston that I think of as an island of sanity and peacefulness. It is a retreat space. I think of it as an oasis, spelled O. as is, one as is, and everything that happens in there, whether it's meditation circles, mindfulness gatherings, dialogue groups, Tai Chi groups, baby blessings, all of those things that happen in that place are filled with an energy of calmness and centeredness that I I'm just so delighted by it. Was in the place. I found this space after years of looking, and I am collaborating with the energy that is already there. And so to make even more things happen in that space and to broaden the community that is now becoming a local community is what I'm really excited about these days.
Gabrielle, you have so many amazing projects going on right now. It's so wonderful to talk to somebody that is doing so many creative and unusual things in ministry, the way that you are today. And I know that we are so grateful that you have been and you continue to be such an important member of the One Spirit community. We are very much looking forward to having you here in October to teach your class. And I know that I will be sitting in the front row. Are there any thoughts that you'd like to leave the graduates with before we take off?
I think what I would say to anyone considering joining or being in the first year or second year or maybe recently graduate, that the ministry, the path that we each take is one that finds us. And it may not look like anything you've ever thought of as a minister, but as you listen deeply inside and discern what it is for you, the path presents itself one step at a time. I could not have predicted 10 years ago where I am today. So one step at a time and trusting that your path is the right one is what I would say.
Thank you so very much, Gabrielle. I will very much look forward to seeing you at One Spirit in the very near future.
Thank you so much for giving me this time to share a little.
It's always a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.